TCCU, and I'm in the Department of Tourism. Actually, my Japanese is more fluent than my English, but we don't have JMI. We only have EMI, so I need to learn how to teach my students in English. Thank you. Okay, the reflection. At the beginning is the course we attend, then my reflection was written at the end of this part. The feelings, I feel very lucky and grateful to be able to participate in this training program. During the empowering process, I was able to vote and express my opinions on the questionnaires because Dr. Siegel gave us a lot of chance to give our opinions by the tools. Then I think I can communicate with other members in the discussion room of the subgroup. That's very interesting to feel be a student again. Then the evaluation of this program, I think it's very suitable for nowadays because we are from different schools, different universities all over the Taiwan. So if you don't have the online training process, it may be very time costing. We need to come to the same classroom, just like today. But I'm happy to meet everyone in real. Then the conclusion, I think of my students, they have the similar situation during my classes because nowadays they have too many jobs to do. Our students are always have a lot of business to do. So even in the classes, they always check their cell phone and try to communicate with others. They are not present in the classroom. So I think I always fight with the tools, the machines that the students' attention. So maybe I need to do more efforts. And the action plan, I think, because I was a teacher for such a long time, I think to attend this EMI program made me feel revital. I think about the enthusiasm of teaching, why I become a teacher, or why I want to be the instructor, to lead the student to find a better world. So, and I was most impressive when during the program the speakers had us listen to a student speaking English with a severe accent. Actually, in that class, I cannot understand who she's speaking at the first time. But at the second time, I suddenly found I can understand most of the speaking. So maybe waiting and have more patience for the students is what I need to do in my forward teaching. Wait for the students to progress and to become somebody better as they want. Oh, it's my time. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Brainstorm. Any questions from professors?
I have a question is, so when you do the EMI, so some jargon, some professional terminology, the student don't understand, how do you explain again?
As in the Department of Tourism, usually we don't have a lot. We only have very, very seldom jargon. For example, usually we say it's tourism, but most of the time somebody say sightseeing or tour or travel, or sometimes they use the leisure. All these one come together. So sometimes I will explain again and tell the students which one we always use as an academic term and which one we use it as a normal daily term. I will explain like that, so let the students know. And they will choose the maybe suitable, not the perfect. They will choose the suitable term when they try to speak. Thank you.
Thank you for scholarships and sharing. Any other questions? Yeah, I just thought that Professor Su has a very excellent communication with students. It's like the teaching is not only the English, but also communication is very important. Can you please share with us
Communicate with students.
Yes.
Before, I think I'm very severe, picky teacher to students. But recently, I've become more patient. Even the students are playing with their cell phone or laughing to the cell phone, I will try to make friends to them. I will ask them why you are laughing. Do you have anything interesting you found online? And please share with us, something like that. So they will think I'm an easygoing teacher. They will not hate me. Then if I didn't do like that, they would just do it. For example, if I don't ask them what's interesting on their screen, they will just do that. And if I stop them or forbidden to use the nowadays technology, they will hate me. They will not answer my question, or they will just somebody sit there like a stone. So I think maybe we say to take them as a person, not only a student, will be very important for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so moved that understanding students' single story is also important for us to build the bonding between students and teachers,
Yes.
which lets them can better understand what we are talking about. Thank you so much for Su Lao's sharing. Now it's time for
Thank
Wu
you.
Laoshi. Please get ready.
And dear classmates, it's me again. This is a correct name. The third one. Because sometimes people will describe me. Okay, that's my sharing, and I'm from Taichung, so after this I might have a quick leap. And my feelings about this program is that I'm honored and appreciate that I have the chance to be in this program. It's a very dense program and I learned very much, even though from the knowledge and the techniques. And the evaluation. The first two things I learned is using the online app. Usually, it's hard for me to control the students from the class because most of my students are from the lower level, so they are kind of enjoying their work. So it's hard to manage their attitude in the class. So my app is very useful for me to get into the class for them. The first thing from this program. I use the GPT software from the web and measure their English proficiency abilities. So the online app is very useful and is very efficient for me too. And the other one is that I use some hardwares because students in the class, they used to stay in their own mind. So I have to ask them to concentrate and build the homeworks and some assignments for them to put some effort into the class. So I ask them to do some homeworks in the class so I can watch them. And if they have any questions, they can ask me immediately. So I can handle everything in the class and ask them to hand in those homeworks immediately as well. So what did I learn from the above situations? I think students pay too much attention to their own cell phone and their lives. So some of my students will play games in the class, and it's hard to ask them not to do that. So since the cell phone is the attraction for them, I will prefer to use them as a teaching tools. So I ask them to use the cell phone as the recorder. So I use Sensei in the classroom. I ask them to record their voice and the feedback from AI. So take into the program, digital systems from school. So it will give them the attention. They have to do this because I have only the rights to get into the Sensei. They don't have certain level ability to get in there. So they have to finish writing the class or they won't take in the paper. Attention plan. So I try to make things clear, so I tend to talk to details. So I think I should make everything shorter and clearer. So I tend to write everything I say in very short sentence in class, in a digital system from school, right in front of students. So if they are not very clear about anything, I will adjust it right away. So I try to make everything perfect and clear. So that's an action plan. That's my feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for Professor Wu's sharing. Now it's our 2 minutes brainstorm time. Any questions from other professors? Yeah, I have a question for Professor Wu. Since nowadays the cell phone is like students are playing games or doing their own things or check their belongings, check them like 2 seconds, for 2 seconds once a time, which is very hard for us to attract their attention. So you mentioned that they are playing games and it's very hard for you to tell them to stop it. So did you ever try and what's the experience?
Well, I think the students trying to use cell phone in the class 10 years ago. But it's getting worse recently. So at the very beginning, it's easier to ask them to stop doing that and pay attention. Even we can take their cell phone away. But right now, it's hard for them to remove their attention from the cell phone. Yeah. So even though I want to take the cell phone away, or they will be angry, something like that. So since I cannot ask them to remove that, so it will be the tool for me to ask them to do the homework. Since Sensei, I have the right to gain them. So my time is only the teaching time. course time. So when I leave the class, they won't have the access to the sensei. They cannot hand in the homework. So they have to practice in the class.
Yeah.
They have to pay attention.
Yeah, you are very smart. It's a very smart way. Yeah. So, any other questions from the professors? If no, let's get Professor Wu again. Thank you. Now it is turn for Professor 蔡诗峰老师. Please get ready.
Mine's gone, so take it easy. I always tell students, take it easy. Because they are not easy, especially EMI. Everybody say, oh my God, teacher speak English again. I say, well, it's good because they can calm down themselves for a second before we start an EMI. And they will be, oh, okay, teacher want to talk in English, it will be great. Sorry, 1 second. Oh. Yes, good to see you. Yeah. Where is mom?
你本来是第10。
How are you? My name is Charles Tai, and I also teaching in Taichung UTC. And my job is teaching the business. And so when we do the EMI, I always ask the students, say, it's not EMI. It's English make you intelligent. And now the AI and EMI is all together. So sooner or later, the AI will be like an EMI, and they will combine together. So in these classes, how to introduce an EMI. So you are making it fun to talk about, oh, what is an EMI? They always think about it as English as a media of instruction. They will make them worried and nervous. But if you say, oh no, EMI is the English make you intelligent, maybe they will change their way. So, of course, this is a template. They already teach you how to do that. And in my classes, when we do the EMI, just like the teacher says, student now will accompany with a cell phone, 3C product, and even the talking. But it's fine to me. Why? Because I will give them some assignment. And they can do that together. But the most important, they must have a performance. What do you feel about an EMI? And what do you do when you use an EMI? And so the most important is talk. If they don't talk, what is the EMI for? If they want to talk, then you have so EMI. So EMI, sometimes I will give them is a communication. So anyway, like all the teachers say, what is the improvement of EMI strategy? I think that this is, you can take a look from the paper. I would like to share with you is the feeling. And I tell the student to write me a feeling about EMI. They always write me a short sentence. Oh, teacher, I like it. Teacher, thank you so much. Teacher, I love you. But it's fine. Why? Because they give me a response and I would like them to say something. So the feeling is, how do you feel attending the whole course? And how do you interact with the audience? So some students write me the comment is, oh, way they describe the different word to define the jargon, sometimes they don't know how to use their word. Trust me, most of the university students, they only can use under the 1,000 keywords. Sometimes they are not over 1,000. Why? Because they didn't do well. Because they use the phone most of the time. But it's fine, because we can change the AI with the EMI together to make them to more practice. So that will be my feeling about how to present the EMI. Okay. Anyway. So, and sometimes I will give the evaluation. And on the end of the semester, I always give them some positive and a negative term. The positive, I will ask them to use the EMI to present their conclusion. And the negative, sometimes I will ask them to do what? It's not easy, but they can write down something they want to say, and they can spend much time to do it. Because the only time they do an EMI in the class is only maybe 2 hours. But do you think that they are all talking? Maybe. But that's why you have to do this one. So you will give it an evaluation. All right, cool. Great. Anyway, my conclusion is I will keep the student keep talking and even the EMI program. But as you guys are all very professional teacher, and you all have your professional. So how do you put a professional in the EMI? I think that is the most important. And especially like a PE, physical education. How do you teach in the yoga? How do you communicate to each other? That will be your key point. But thank you for your listening for my presentation. I think just like my professor told me, EMI is a long way. It's not only teacher, even the student, even the school. So it's still a long way to go. Hopefully we can be like Singapore or Hong Kong, but still need time to do it. So now it's a never stop, but we can do it together. Thank you for your listening. Any question? I think my voice is loud enough. Yes.
Since like you are talking about that you want to get the student get talking.
Yeah.
So what is the typical task you provide in the class to get them talking?
I would like to ask them to talk. I provide a Q&A. So I always start from the 5W1H question. For example, what did you learn? Trust me, most of the students will think about 1 or 2 seconds, and they say, short answer, nothing. A lot. But I will keep asking the second question. What is a lot? What did you learn? So I will follow their man and follow their mind to create a question more to make them to talk to me. So I think that's the point for the EMI. Otherwise, just like I said, communication is the first priority. So if they don't talk, it's not an EMI. If they talk, that's an EMI. That's for my idea. Thank you. You? No more? Thank you very much. I wish you a good day. Yeah. So teacher, I got to run a little bit because I got to take the bus. Yeah, I have to go back to Taichung. I wish I can see you guys next time, and hopefully this forum can keep going and we can talk about more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it is time for 徐老师、徐小林老师。Please get ready.
learn a lot of topic, so I can really follow it step by step. And I also think that there was a lot of interactive session. He used a lot of polls during the course, and I can actually share my ideas. I can also learn from my peers, what's the reflection from my peers, and I think that is a really good part during my classes. On the other hand, I look forward to more interactive element like simulated teaching scenario. Like we all get interaction among us, and probably we will have more interaction in the future, like right now. And my conclusion is that I actually learned a lot of important parts as a holistic approach to implementing EMI, and it includes addressing linguistic challenges and ensuring culture sensitivity. For my class, actually, most of my students are from Taiwan, so I haven't thought about that part. So when Professor Zhou really brought that topic, I feel inspired actually. So the emphasis on teacher training and curriculum development, and I think these two parts are especially important. Okay, so I think I will probably end it over here because I think I'm running out of time. Okay, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for Professor sharing. Any questions? Any brainstorm from other teachers?
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I think that's a big challenge for a student to sense the cultural sensibility. I think that's very difficult. Although we think we are in a multicultural place as Taiwan, but sometimes we don't recognize it. How about in your class? Do you have any interesting example can share with us?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I noticed that because of the class actually, because of the EMI online learning class, I noticed that in the future I should pay more attention on the cultural differences. Because just like I said, when in my EMI classes, most of my students are actually from Taiwan. So they do not come from other countries. But I noticed that because there's other classes, not EMI class, that is my listening and speaking class, and they are from other countries. I noticed that they do have different performance like my other their peers in the class. So that's kind of reminding that in the future when I design something, when I design my task, I should take that into consideration. So this is kind of an inspiring part in that class. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you, Professor Xu, for your excellent sharing. Now it is time for Wen老师. Get ready.
My name is Lin Ziwen. I'm delighted to participate in the How to EMI program, which has provided me with the learning opportunity. Currently, I teach National Taiwan Normal University assistant professor. I teach yoga, PE teacher, and it's the academic program, and share what is like to inter-country and any positive and negative contribute is the main of the country. And how feeling about feeling. I'm very thank you for the opportunity participant in the EMI model training. I have been in nearly half for teaching. Not only have I technology, but I also hear about problems solved in the EMI teaching situation. I wanted his student Professor Josie for his sixth lecture on how to EMI. His presentation in the have into the matter of our and evolution and the past if EMI grows in high broad in agreement, but by presentation important turn in the English. Relation communication with the student from the different country. Native students come from different learning background and regional lesson plan turning for a very level is very different. Entering motivation students speak up the student, their graduate. Teacher has into the more time and reflection and contribution. And conclusion, and I have learning more again, more insight to teaching history challenge, but preparation before the connected in the issue and contribute adjustment during the teaching, along with the discussion with the college and the nurses. And the most challenges of EMI course is come to treat the communication with the student. I believe I need many teaching relation issue provide and affect a student. Yeah. I'm very country news with the start together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Any questions from the professors?
Representative, I think you think about how to make your students speak in yoga class. Can you share with us?
Sorry, again.
Because in the morning we received a question about how students can speak in the yoga class, because usually only the teachers speak in the yoga class. And did you get the answer? And could you please share with us how do you make your students speak in the yoga class?
Thank you, your question. Teacher motivation and demo. And for example, brief sheet and demo, and students speak together. Follow me. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Teacher Lin. And now it's time for Chen Shiru 老师. Please get ready.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chen Shiru. I teach in Department of Chinese Literature at the National Taiwan Normal University. My research focuses on the late Wei Dynasty and modern Taiwan travel literature. So I teach travel and literature at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. Today I will share my experience and reflections about how to learn EMI course. First, attending the whole course was very positive experience for me. Although we only attended the course this time, but the instruction was very specific in designing the program, which made me feel very efficient. I interacted with my peers through online group discussions. Although we didn't know each other, we still could understand each other's difficulty and the solutions in the EMI course. This was very helpful to me. And about the evolution, I think the lecturer was very specific and clear in his presentation. Although I haven't taught the EMI course before, but it's a very good example for me to use simple sentence and words when if I will teach in the future in EMI course. And the lecturer has shown his active interaction with students, waited patiently and give us a lot of kind feedback. However, sometimes there's only one small issue that maybe I can provide it for the organization. Sometimes the slide on the screen is not clear enough or changed too fast. Although we can download the whole hangouts from the Moodle after class, but maybe some shorter tips or hangouts could be provided in advance. It can add visual help. And I took every online activity seriously, whether it's a poor or a type response in the chat room. And most of the other students who joined the class were quick to respond. So this class has a good teacher-student interaction. And about the conclusions, I think I learned from this course. I try to combine the technology tools like Pro Everywhere or the Slido and Google Forms to collect students' opinion when I teach during my class. And I think it is useful and can increase the interaction with the students. So about the action plan, I think after this course, I need to adjust my teaching strategies, especially the part of increasing interaction with students. I will improve in my teaching skills by attending workshops, and I think the NTNU has a lot of EMI workshops, so I'm so lucky to have more chance in the future. And thank you for your listening.
Thank you for Chen Lao's presentation. Any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm curious about, is there any international students coming to your class? Do they want to learn Chinese?
I heard there are many foreign students in NTNU. In my class, in the general courses, maybe 20 to 30 or more than. So if I teach only in Chinese about the comprehended Chinese content, maybe they cannot understand fully. So sometimes I choose to provide the English versions, and that I can get more feedback. But I think my university is very special because there are really a lot of foreign students. Although I teach the course at the Department of Chinese Literature, but I still met a lot of foreign students. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really interesting and very important. Any other questions? Okay. If no, that's that. Chen Laoshi again. Yeah. And now it is time for Xiao Laoshi, Xiao Junshuo Laoshi. Please take away.
teacher school of逢甲 University, and it's my pleasure to be here to share the 4 issues addressed below. And the first issue here is, sorry, I don't know how to control it. Okay. The first issue I want to share is, maybe I misunderstand the issues here. So I write down my feeling here. The course of EMI online training initially, I was afraid I won't have efficient interaction, but Professor Joe used simple words to address the issue of EMI. I think it's quite have a great difference for me to teach the course in Fourteenth University, especially for my course is quite helpful for all students to understand. And so however, I still cannot interact well with the other participants via the chat because I just can't watch the video online after the lecture. So it is a little bit pity to participate in this course. But if it's possible, the organizer can group the participants in the teams in the different schedules. Maybe we can have a very highly interactions in this course. So this is my opinion for the course that they are attending for the EMI. The second issue is the evaluation. And actually, I have applied the skill of the EMI that Professor Joe teach us in my course. The EMI course. So in my course, I teach the computer aided science course, and it's very difficult to teach students by English because there are a lot of the specific keyword that students cannot understand. But the Professor just said you don't need to use a very complex sentence to explain or to teach students. You just need to use the very simple word keyword to explain the definition of the course and teach the students. So here, that is the students give 3 feedback after the course. The first feedback is the course is easier to understand by the precise keywords associated with the software comments. So I just use the very simple word of comment. Then use the very simple sentence to explain. Then I just use write down a very short sentence that students can understand, even though their listening is not good. So they also can see what the sentence I write down on the blackboard. And use the simple sentence while teaching computer skill helps the student become involved in the learning context. I think it's quite important. Using ChatGPT in the semester report also is very important because it can help students to erase the barrier in EMI tests. And the third issue is conclusions. The big barrier to the course implemented by EMI is not the listening ability, but the speaking. Like the Zhuang Lao Shi, yes, he just mentioned before. In the teaching process, I have found we need to encourage students to speak in English, but I think it's quite student cannot present well, he is encouraged to use the bilingual language to recognize and value linguistic diversity within EI framework, take the significant advantage in erasing the language barrier. I think that is the skill also mentioned by Professor Joe. And the final issue is action plan. Oh, okay. So action plan for the tutor, for the student have different packets. For the tutors, the course is easier to understand by the keywords also. Sorry for the skill to occupy the time. Okay. So for the tutor, the course is easier to use to understand while the keywords associated with the soft comments. It is just used for the computer and design course, but for the main course, for example, for the architectural design, it's very difficult because the architectural design is associated with the national examination. They have a lot of specific words that we cannot use the English to explain because, for example, 建蔽率 is cover ratio, but if you use cover ratio, you need to define or explain. Otherwise, the students cannot understand the relationship between cover ratio and the 建蔽率, and it will affect the student in the national examination. So it's very difficult for some course. But for the computer course, it's quite easier because the computer course we just use the command of the computer. Using a simple sentence while teaching computer skill helps students become involved in learning. And for the student can use the add tool like ChatGPT in the semester report. It can erase the barrier in EMI tests. So for the next semester, the senior classmate will encourage the junior classmate. Yes, this course is quite easier. Don't be afraid. Please speak in English and do the semester report by ChatGPT is enough. Okay. So students are encouraged to use bilingual language if it is necessary. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for Professor Shaw's excellent sharing. Any questions? Yeah, 老师。
Thank you for your sharing. And I have a sense feeling a skill about the short sentence and words will make the course easier. But I'm curious about the evolution part, that's the third point, and the action plan you mentioned just on this page. The third point you mentioned using ChatGPT in the semester report, yes, can erase the barrier in EMI test. Could you describe more about this? How to do this?
Actually, the students they are curious about how to because all the students they afraid to use the write the report in English, so they always browse the Chinese website and copy the text into the report. But if you use ChatGPT, they finally can browse the English website and they try to read the sentence and the meaning of the from the website information. So, and if they want to copy it, it's also very easier for the student to sense is the information from the website. So they need to use their conscious to write down the report. But they need to write down it in Mandarin first, then use ChatGPT to translate in English. And that will be helpful for students to finish the report for the semester. Yeah. So the main function is just for the translation. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Now please turn for 朱老师，朱彩欣老师。
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity for me to share my reflection on how to EMI training and my feeling about these courses. As I feel excited when attending this course. Our teacher Joe demonstrated a very clear path for the knowledge needed for conducting an EMI courses. And I also like to meet the others and interact with the others in the separate discussion sections, as well as to see the collective input of the course. And my evaluation about this experience is, I think the best thing I like is to have a structural knowledge of EMI. So we can have a clear map and we can have a clear strategy on conducting an EMI courses. That is the best part I like. And the negative things maybe the section is too long. Sometimes we will get distracted from the long lecture. So maybe I think to break the long instruction into a short subsection will be helpful to refocus the audience. That will be easier for our students to follow our instruction. So the conclusion, how can I learn from that situation? Maybe I think use a second language as an instructional media is quite different from using Mandarin to do that. It has to consider not only the instructor's situation, but only the student's situation as well as the contextual settings. For example, the culture embedded in the classroom, or the atmosphere created in the class. So we need to equip more instructional strategies, some supporting mechanisms or curriculum on design skill for making the EMI successful. So what is my action plan? Maybe we need some instructional skills, such as repeating, exampling, scaffolding can be used for an EMI class. And multi-language or trans-language is a good strategy for improving the students' comprehension and make our knowledge delivery more effective. So I plan to develop the skill by two steps. The first, I may reorganize our teaching materials and break them into short sections and make them more interactive. So maybe in that short sections, I will make some key terms with different colors and with Chinese indicators or graphic to make the idea more clear. And second, I will try to design my instruction follow the ODIR strategy. For ODIR is for objective, to tell our student the objective of the instruction, and then deliver the knowledge. Then we will have some interaction, maybe use some online tool such as I want to introduce my student what e-commerce is. So in the first part, I will tell the student in the beginning, we will go to, I will tell them the outline of this class. In today's class, we will talk about two parts. The first part is introduce what is e-commerce, and the second part we will provide you some example about what e-commerce looks like. Okay, so that is the objective. We just give them an outline about your whole classroom in this week. And then we will go to the first part. I will deliver the knowledge. Maybe we will give them the definition of e-commerce to explain the terminology. What is B2B, business to business, what is B2C, something like that. Then we will go to interaction. I will use a Jambo, a kind of collaborative tool online. So every student can use their cell phone to do some collaboration online. So I use this tool to make sure they get my idea about what I have delivered. So the recap, at the end of the section, I will try to make some screenshot of our slide or our key concept to remind them what is important knowledge in this section. So we call it OEIR strategy.
Wow, it's so interesting. I also learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Okay, let's start. 朱老师 again.
Now it's time for 陈怡金老师。Please get ready.
Hello everyone, my name is Jing and I'm teaching music appreciation and music civilization. And I have learned a lot from these courses and many from my professors who share their experiences and insights. Even though I don't have any experience about teaching in EMI, but I want to know how EMI works. This is why I attend these courses. And to be honest, at first, EMI initially made me quite nervous because I worry that my English might not be strong enough to teach my courses and it will make my students nervous. But after I took these lessons, I know, I don't need to teach my course all in English when my student couldn't understand some specific concepts. Maybe after I rephrase it several times, I can maybe use a little Mandarin to describe it, to let them understand. Yeah, and after these courses, I got some Mandarin strategy to improve my teaching. First, I think I need to determine which concept is the most important because maybe sometimes I need to switch the language. Maybe if I rephrase it several times and they still don't understand, maybe I will use Mandarin to help them. And second, I might create clear and specific evaluation rules or forms made it transparent to students how their scores are assessed. Because if I were a student, I will wondering how professors assess my score because it's not an English lessons or courses. So if I can make it quite clear, then I think it will help my students to be more understand and not so anxious about it. And third, if I have time, I might record my teaching sessions to review. Maybe this session I didn't explain it clearly, or what should I do? And later, I will enhance my use of body language in my courses to help students better understand what I mean. And this is my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Professor Chen's excellent sharing. Any questions?
Just a, it is just a curiosity that what do you think is the biggest challenge in your EMI class?
You mean in music?
Yes.
I think Vietnam, but they don't speak English well. So I will also use English on my slide, but I also use ChatGPT to translate my content to their language to make sure they really understand, because I usually ask them to write something about how do you feel this song and can you introduce your traditional music? But I noticed some of them really don't understand English, so they will write wrong answer. So I have to translate it to their language. Yeah, but it's okay because I also learn a lot because in my lesson I usually just focus on a specific concept. For example, 艺术歌曲, I will translate it to art song. Just let them know this concept or this term is for something, then it's enough.
Thank you so much. I'm curious that you mentioned that you also use your phone for the language.
Yes.
Can you please share with us a little bit about how you do it to communicate with students?
I think in Dr.'s lecture he mentioned, his video, I saw the professor when they calculate something, they would like do that. And I also do it with, for example, if this song is by river, and I would do like that. It's a little naive, but it works.
Yeah, it works.
Or something like star shining. That I have to make my body language clearly, especially they cannot speak Chinese and Mandarin well.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter will be 陈清玉老师。
Hello everyone, my name is Chen Qinyu, and I teach part-time at Department of Community Science, Penn University. Today I want to share my idea on the EMI course I took. This course helped me understand how to use English in teaching. I will talk about my feeling, what went well, and what didn't, what I learned, and my plan to improve. The EMI course teaches us many things like introducing EMI, deal with challenge using strategy, assess students, including everyone, and learn better practice. Feeling. I feel that this course helped me learn step by step how to use EMI in teaching. I got different ideas from teachers from different backgrounds. I'm very thankful to the Professor Joe for arrange group discussion. He allowed us to share our teaching experience and how we plan our course. Evaluation. My experience with EMI teaching is very limited. During this course, I often found it hard to understand the content and complete the test correctly. The teacher was very helpful and shared many experiences. However, the teacher needs more resources like training software or tools and comments for group activity to make the interaction easy. Conclusion. Through the EMI course, I dispersed teaching step 1 video of EMI teachers from different countries. In experienced teacher can follow these steps to use EMI strategy, which greatly shorten the learning curve. I was very happy to see the video in the session. Through this learning experience, I need to improve my English speaking skill and actively participate in EMI course in various fields. By observing, I can accumulate EMI teaching strategy. In summary, the EMI course has been very helpful. It helped me understand and use English in teaching. I learned from student and Professor Joe and the video. Moving on, I need to improve my English speaking skill and join more EMI course. By observing and participating, I can learn more EMI teaching strategies. Thank you all for listening to my talk. I hope my experience give you some idea about EMI. If you have any question or want to more, I will happy to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Then teacher Chen's sharing. Any questions? Any questions? Challenge. I have one question. So far, what's the challenge during your teaching through EMI?
Thank you for your question. The most difficult part is understand some or content and complete test currently, because my experience with EMI teaching is limited. But I will try and search more workshop and to do EMI. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. Let's get teacher Chen again. And now it is time for Cai Wei 老师.
Hello. It's great to have the opportunity to report here. First, please. I learned that students from different countries have different acceptance level of English and respond differently. Therefore, when facing students from different countries, the language level used should be adjusted in time so that students can accept and understand it. And evaluation positive because students come from different countries. Course can only be taught in English, and course content must be understood and applied by all students. Not every country has the same level of education, and some students may need more explanation and more time. And conclusions. I will use the warm-up method to teach students the text and explanations of the content to be taught in advance, so that students have more time to preview and then giving them articles that are easier to read to make the students more impressed. Then divide the students into groups and let them discuss with each other to improve their English skill. And attention plan. Try to standardize the English accent or let students get used to the teacher's accent and speaking style to make the speech easier to read. Various language tools can be used to improve the English proficiency of students and teachers at the same time, making students understanding and apply more efficient. Okay, my report. Thank you.
Appreciate your sharing. Maybe some words is useful for me. So thanks your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. 蔡老师这边 And now listen for 严曼诗老师。
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to be here. Especially, I would like to take this chance to appreciate National Taiwan Normal University for hosting this wonderful learning opportunity. Yeah. Okay. Why I joined this class is because in our school we are also promoting the EM class, but quite far behind from National Taiwan Normal University. So I'm actually teaching one course in the first semester, but it's because the quality, not really quality, but the competency of my students, I was forced to use more and more Chinese to compensate, kind of like translanguaging in my class. Oh, by the way, I'm teaching the Business Administration Department in National Taichung University of Science and Technology, as Dr. Cai Zhen, who just left. So a little bit about my reflection for this class, about feelings. I think just like what most of our colleagues have mentioned before, I feel quite empowered after attending the whole class. I think the lecturer actually provided a very practical and also research-supported material, and that makes the materials very convincing because we are all professors, so that's why we like the evidence-based material. And also, other participants, which is our wonderful classmates here, also provide their own experience, which enrich the whole learning experience a lot. Okay, so basically, I enjoyed the class very much. A little bit about the pros and cons. I I did in this class. I think I will start with not that well. Actually, it's just a little. Just some of the class that I also mentioned before. Because I think Professor Siegel, I think he is too experienced in teaching EMI. So some of the class or some of the questions he used is a little bit complicated for our situation, or cultural awareness that in Taiwan maybe we did not confront that situation that much. So maybe some of the sophisticated question I can see quite often that we kind of hang in there without much a quick response as he expected. So maybe he might think about tweaking the level of question, sophistication of the question in the future opportunity. About the well, actually, there's a lot of great things I would like to share, I would like to talk about. But I think not only do I learn a lot of even my technique in this class, but also a lot of online teaching, online interaction techniques in this class as well. So some of the colleagues also mentioned Professor Siegel used a lot of tools, texts, make us have a breakout discussion. And I think that all make although it's an online class, but it all make the learning experience quite engaging. And that I enjoy a lot as well. And my conclusion is I think just for my own class in the future, because I just mentioned my current student cannot follow the material that well, so I also need to think about how to make the interaction simpler to make the transition between knowledge that really happen, that make a meaningful learning for the students. And yeah, basically that's it. So keep the student centered. So my action plan is quite simple, just because I want to make it simple. So just to prepare the class activities in advance, and also make others peers to review to make sure the material is correct, not only correct, but also simple, that for the students to easy to digest. Okay. So that was my sharing for today, and and welcome to all the feedback and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Yan Laoshi. Thank you very much for excellent sharing discussion.
Thank you, for your presentation. I have a small question. I'm curious about how many students do you have in the class? Thank you.
My first and only EMI class in my current school is about 25 students. We actually have a special class for, we call it 绩优专班, which means they have more certificates. They are kind of like special talent students. So that's why we do some experiments on them. So I kind of lure them that, oh, okay, just come. It's not going to be sophisticated. I will do whatever I can to make you understand. If on the surface, we need to keep like 70% English, but we will make it whatever to make you really understand. We want to make it a meaningful learning. But so sometimes I need to explain the same topic from different angles so they can really understand and try to make them speak. As many colleagues just mentioned, try to make them speak English. That's really not too big, not too small. All Taiwanese students.
Yeah, I have one question for Professor Yan. I am very curious on the Keep Students Center. Do you have any ideas on the confidence building for students and Keep Students Center? Is there any relationship between these two?
I'm sorry, the student center and the other is?
The other is confidence. Building
build our class activities or build our knowledge around that. So we need to kind of need to monitor the status of the learning and try to adjust our teaching, and that's what I basically do in not only the EMI class but all of my classes. Yeah. And about the confidence, I think, well, I would not say 100% because it's kind of tricky. That's what I think. Because if I just use teacher-centered teaching, if the student just enjoy that, and I think, oh yeah, you just say what you want, and I just do what I want, and yes, and we just spend 3 hours together, and they are fine with that. Their confidence might be high, but right now if we make it student-centered, then they will say, oh, you are always making me kind of uncomfortable, You want to stretch me a little bit. You almost want me to learn more things a little bit. So their confidence might actually drop compared to teachers. Do you agree? I think you might agree because we kind of put small challenges to them. So that's why I can see from their face. If I use traditional teaching, they will just quite enjoy that with their cell phone. But yeah, and also if they can pass the final exam, that they are happy. Well, if we are using some project-based learning, I might not get a higher my score might not be higher, and I think their confidence might not be as strong after my conversation with them or after the class, our discussion with them, and they kind of feel stretched. But I think, it's kind of debate. So maybe without just raise a great question, I should be careful about that. We may center on that, but don't make them feel focused. Student-focused teaching, they might feel stress or pressure. Yeah, maybe I should keep that in mind. Thanks for your wonderful feedback.
Next that is Sheldon.
And now it's in for Jen Xiaofeng老师. Please get ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jen Xiaofeng. I'm from NTNU. I'm a new teacher, so I was assigned to over EMI next semester. I think that's be a challenge for me to over EMI course because I don't have any open book for a long time. So I think when I speak English, I feel very nervous and embarrassed. But I think that might be my weakness to offering EMI course. But it might be a strength for me to offer the EMI course because students and I have the similar experience and similar background. I know they are nervous. I want to share an experience. Before I went to NTNU, I tried a partial EMI course in my previous school. I think it's mission impossible for me to conduct an EMI course. But finally, I got the highest score I never got. That's very surprised me. I got 5-point scores. I think what happened when I speak Mandarin, I didn't get the highest score. So I learned from that experience. I want to share with I think they have 2 elements. One is maybe supporting climate is very important. Make sure speak slowly is very important. Make students to understand what I said and they can respond me. And I always use body language. I always smile and create very friendly questions. Maybe I ask close question first, yes or no, and make students succeed to answer me. And then when they feel comfortable, I ask an open question. I think students get used to English generally. Okay. The second is digital tool. I think it's very important. It takes a lot of time to make PPT. I put images, pictures, and let students to understand what I say. And when I create a group discussion, I allow students to use cell phone to find the information, and they can use the material to express. So I think EMI course is not difficult, but it's still a challenge for me. I will do my best, and I feel more comfortable to offer the EMI course next semester. Finally, as Joe said, there is no right way to EMI course, but we can use creative method to make our students succeed. That's my experience, and thank you.
Thank you for Professor Jen's sharing. Any questions?
I want to say, okay, I wrote the draft before, but when I present, I decide I don't want to use my draft. If I can speak spontaneously and I feel comfortable to speak English, I think my student might be do it. Yes. Thank you.
I say because I was assigned to. Not because I really appreciate your reflection. I think it's quite wonderful and quite spontaneous. It really moves, move people's mind. Yeah, it can make us moving. I'm quite interested in what you just mentioned, some creative method. So can you share with us that what's creative method? I think you are really creative and really makes an impact. Can you just share with us about your experience on that?
Sometimes experience practice in activities, and I use body language or feelings like a student to understand. Maybe I offer an event, or maybe I offer a case and let the student to discuss. Sometimes if student can't express, I will offer vocabulary or image that lead to choose the options and make them express easy. And by the way, we combine the USR, so we go out to school to practice, to serve in the community. Yes.
Thank you very much for your question. And I have one question. You mentioned that before. First, we use a closed question to make students feel comfortable.
Yes.
And then step by step, you go to the open classrooms. Can you please share a little about that?
Do you feel comfortable?
understanding and build a supportive network of peers facing similar challenges. In evaluating the EMI course, I haven't yet applied it practically in my class. However, the course can provide a good understanding of the EMI. For the positive aspect, I have gained valuable knowledge about EMI strategy, potential challenges, and the valuable examples. And a negative point was the lack of hands-on practice during the course. And I hope to learn more about interactive teaching tools and the online Q&A system to improve my EMI teaching skills and implementing these tools in my future class to make the lessons more effective and effective. And in the conclusion about this class, I have better understanding in EMI and some possible gaps for the interactive tools, such as interactive teaching tools and online Q&A systems. This can significantly improve student engagement and understanding. So I hope to learn more about these tools for collaboration. We share teaching experience, and this is important for collaboration and learning from peers. For continued improvement, and this is always even more important, and seeking additional training and resources can help me better adapt EMI method in my teaching. And finally, in the Asian presentation, because my English is not good enough, so first I will take intensive English speaking course and practice with native speakers to get more confident using English in class. And I will learn to use various intensive teaching software such as electronic survey tools and online Q&A systems. And I will simplify my teaching content, for example, PPT. And I will establish regular feedback mechanisms to understand student needs and adapt my teaching method accordingly. And this can include anonymous surveys and open discussion to get insights on improving my EMI approach. This is my report. Thanks for your attention.
Questions?
So will you do the EMI courses in the coming year?
Well, I haven't no idea for my EMI course.
Not yet, but
Yeah.
on the way. On the way.
Yes, I haven't organized this EMI course in my usual course.
Thank you very much for your response, Sherry. Now it's our last speaker, Lin老师.
Hello everyone, I'm Do from Technical University of Science and Technology. I belong to the Department of Public Finance and Taxation. Today I will briefly and quickly share my reflections on how to EMI online course. First, the course was exciting and challenging, providing a wealth of knowledge on how to implement EMI. However, a key challenge was the lack of interaction among participants. Many of us, including myself, were too shy to share our thoughts, which limited the exchange of ideas. The course was useful and covered many important aspects, such as implementing effective strategies for EMI. I learned about designing course syllabi and assessment methods tailored to EMI. One key lesson I learned is the importance of active participation for a dynamic learning experience. And to improve this, I plan to develop skills in creating a more engaging classroom environment. My aim is to create a supportive learning environment where students feel comfortable to speak up and eventually improving their learning experience in EMI courses. And that's all for today, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for Lin老师sharing. Any questions? Any questions from Su 老师和林老师? and then let's close our how to Emi today. Is there any teacher want to share today's topic? For me, actually for me, I learned a lot. I teach EMI, and during my experience, I think that teach EMI is not only teaching English. And today I learned a lot like using the online app. Students love to use cell phone, and they will create some ideas with like the hook, right? Kahoot. Yeah, and others to make them how to say stay comfortable Zoom. Yeah, and the learning is in this course. And second, I think group discussion is very important to make them speak in their comfortable zone as well. And I just like Professor Tsai shared that jargons is also very important. Professional words is really important to make them better understand what we are talking about, because for the EMI 70% is a must, right? Yeah. And positive and negative feedback from students is also important, but now as a teacher we need positive feedback as well to make us feel like I have the encouragement to go on. Just like Professor Zheng mentioned that smile, keep smile always. Sometimes I cry because I prepared a lot and I got some negative feedbacks. And after digestion with other teachers, I have to keep smile on the stage. And not teacher talking always, but make them feel positive as well, to make the environment to be positive. Yeah, step by step. Because we have many like yoga, many kinds of backgrounds, professionals. Like for example, the national examinations, they will be in Chinese, but we teach in English. How to conquer these kind of challenges is also very important. And Professor Xu also mentioned that ODI are kind of like, for example, other like SACMI, very different scenarios to teach students, to lead students how to learn this subject in English well. Yeah, there are many scenarios and professors mentioned a lot. And now about professors, you can share some feelings of today's topic.
I'm the most talkative one. I think that's kind of politic, how to say that, political issue for in our education scenario, because we have that and that students because of the low rate of birth. So maybe we will face the similar situation. Our students are from Taiwan, and we need to get some international students to come to our classes. And recently we have a problem. We got students from Vietnam, but as just now several professors told us, the students from Vietnam is not, their English is proficiency is not so high, so they don't understand Mandarin and also not understand English well. So in our class, I think that's very difficult to teach them the content.
to make sure they understand it. So I think now we have more, or we can just do it on the classroom.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
We still have 2 minutes. Do we have any other?
Other resources to support CMI course besides training program and TA? Other resources to support us?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, maybe I got the right person to answer this question, but I will have this question to the center. Yeah. Yes. Any other questions?
I also have a question. I suppose everybody already used the Sensei, the application of Sensei. How do you feel about that application? Does your students also use that? Oh, no? Sensei, S-A-N, S-A-Y. S-E-N, maybe S-E-N, S-A-Y application. No? Oh, really? But just now I heard somebody said he or she use it in the class and help students to for oral, because in that application can evaluate students' pronunciation, the words they use, and also the grammar. Does anybody use that? No? Oh, okay.
Maybe someone just.
Yeah.
Maybe someone just.
Really? Because in the other program, the EMI training program, we use it a lot. Every week we need to use it and submit our assignments. Use Sensei. Yes. And I tried to use that, and I found it very useful. Usually at the first time when I speak the answer, maybe I only get 70 points. And I can check it if the pronunciation or the grammar or the words I used too little, or the anything I didn't make it better. So I will speak another time, and I got my points upgrade. And finally, I can try it several times, then I submit the assignment in maybe 90 points. So I think that's very useful because I can see it how I perform in that sentence. S-E-N-S-A-Y. Sensei.
S-E-N-S-E-Y.
N-N-S-E-N. Nation, N-S-E-N-S-A-Y. I think also in the conference there's a section.
Next section is
Next section.
about
Yeah, next section. Maybe we can close our and try to attend that section. I think that's very useful for students to use.